Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at 10 Easter eggs that proves Claude, the protagonist from Grand Theft Auto 3, is still alive and likely living in Los Santos or somewhere in San Andreas. So this is a series that I've covered on all the other protagonists from the GTA franchise, Tommy Vercetti, Niko Bellic, CJ, and a couple of others. So if you're interested in those videos, I'll leave a link to them in the description. It is amazing the amount of Easter eggs and references that Rockstar have thrown into their newer games about their past characters. And Claude from Grand Theft Auto 3, who also makes some brief appearances in GTA San Andreas, he has a ton of references as well. And he's also a character that we just haven't covered yet. So because of all of those references to the other main characters and the fact that Grand Theft Auto 3's ending is sort of left open-ended, a lot of people have been wondering what happened to our silent protagonist from Grand Theft Auto 3 that we last saw in Liberty City. In fact, Rockstar have actually answered that question, and it allows us to sort of talk about what we're going to be discussing today, the fact that he's probably alive and living in Los Santos. So on Rockstar's Newswire, over the past couple of years, they've been doing Q&As and what they call Asked and Answered, where they essentially take questions from social media and their Newswire inbox, and they basically take those questions and they answer them. It sounds obvious, but that's what it is. And one of the questions they got was about Claude. Now, if you're interested in this article, I will leave a link to it in the description. Rockstar also talk about a lot of other cool things about Claude, like that we won't be discussing in this video today, like what his inspiration was, does he actually have a voice? There's some really cool things on there that you might be interested in. But as far as what happened to him, someone actually said, what became of Claude's fate? Is he dead in the GTA 3 canon? Or is he alive? And Rockstar says he certainly isn't dead. What else became of him? We don't know. So I guess that sort of clears up the ending of GTA 3 just a little bit, but it's still very much open-ended. Now the only thing we know is that he isn't dead, but Rockstar confirms that they don't know what happened to him, and he could be anywhere. Now, that particular Newswire post that I'm referencing came out on December 15th, 2011. So a long time ago and before Grand Theft Auto 5 came out. However, even after that, we saw references to Claude in other Rockstar games. If we stay in the 3D era, Claude was actually featured in a handful of missions. We actually know that he becomes Catalina's boyfriend at the time. So even though Grand Theft Auto San Andreas takes place before GTA 3, GTA 3 takes place in 2001, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas takes place in 1992, Claude does appear in that game in just two missions. One is called Woo Zi Moo, and another one is called Farewell My Love. Now in those missions, he doesn't speak as well, so it's not like he had a voice prior to that, but we've also seen him have prominent appearances in other Rockstar games. And now that leads us to the HD era, where there was a lot of speculation that Claude had ended up passing away. And the reason for that comes from Grand Theft Auto 4. So if you go in any of the apartment complexes in GTA 4, there's actually some graffiti written on sort of the wall towards the staircases. And I'll show you guys what it looks like on the screen right now. I wasn't sure how to make this as clear as possible. So on the left-hand side, we've got a black background, and on the right-hand side, we've got a white background. But you can see there's a handful of different things here that all reference the Grand Theft Auto protagonist. Like at the very bottom, it says, "Remember, Tommy, you're still my hero." It also says "Rip Tony," referring to Tony Cipriani. There's also a couple of other references like "Rip Carl," which would refer to CJ, and also "Rip Claude." And there's a couple of other things like "Everyone misses you," "I love you," "Peace," "Love," a bunch of heart symbols, stuff like that. So basically, this graffiti was basically like an RIP board for all the GTA protagonists, Claude, CJ, Tommy Vercetti. And so many people thought right there that that meant that Claude is dead and that he is no longer alive by the time the GTA series reaches 2008, which would have been about 7 years after we saw him in Grand Theft Auto 3. And this rumor started to gather a lot more steam because one of the things that can actually happen in Grand Theft Auto 4 is you're presented with a choice. You have to either kill one of these guys, Playboy X or Dwayne. And if you choose to end up killing Playboy X, you end up getting his apartment, which is this really like posh and luxurious apartment. And one of the outfits that you can actually get only inside of Playboy X's closet is Claude's outfit. So a lot of people were speculating that Playboy X might have killed Claude. And that would make sense because both have actually been in Liberty City for a handful of years now. We know Playboy X has sort of a violent, gang-related past. So it wouldn't be a shock if he ended up killing Claude, decided he liked his clothes, and ended up taking them. And that's why they would be found in his closet. So a lot of people started to believe this, and all of it started to make sense that indeed Claude was dead. However, about a year after Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, Rockstar sort of put out that fire. They did another question and answer. Someone said in Grand Theft Auto 4, there's a wall that contains the names of previous protagonists in the Grand Theft Auto series. And after some of those names, there's the words RIP or something similar. Is this a way of confirming that the GTA 3 timeline is over, or will you bring it back someday? And Rockstar says this was a little joke for fans of our series. The Grand Theft Auto 3 timeline is not necessarily over, but it is a different world to Grand Theft Auto 4. Only the branding and certain radio personalities exist across both worlds. The reason for this was that we felt Grand Theft Auto 4 was a high-definition experience and required different kinds of characters. That and the fact that most people from the previous worlds are dead. So that last line is a little bit confusing. At first they say it's a joke, but then they say most people from the previous worlds are dead. Are they talking about the main protagonist? Are they talking about the NPCs that we would find on the streets of Liberty City or Los Santos, San Fierro, or Las Venturas? That just sounds kind of weird. But apparently, according to Rockstar, it was just a joke. But that last little line there is still a little bit confusing. And then that leads us to Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, in GTA 5, we kind of have to look at two separate timelines here. The timeline of Grand Theft Auto Online and the timeline of the main story. Now, at first, Rockstar said that Grand Theft Auto Online takes place before the story, but after new updates have come out, apparently GTA Online now takes place in current times. So, I don't know what Rockstar still believes. I'm going to go with their first assumption in that it takes place before the original story. And because of that, we know that Claude can actually be one of our parents in Grand Theft Auto 5. So in Grand Theft Auto Online, the way it works when you're designing your character, you choose different parents, and some of them are references to previous protagonists. There's Niko Bellic, there's John Marston, and Claude is one of them. Now, you only get Claude if you end up owning, I believe it's like the collector's edition or something like that. And you guys can see that that is him. And you can design your characters to almost get a match-to-match like. Now, does this make sense age-wise? I don't think it does because I don't know how old our Grand Theft Auto Online characters are supposed to be, given how old Claude would have been at the time in 2013. Regardless, I don't think that's something that Rockstar thought of, but Claude actually can be your parent. And then, as far as GTA 5 goes, there's actually a character model for Claude that was left over in the in-game files. Now, it's very rough, as you guys can see here. Like, he doesn't have hands and he doesn't have feet. So I'm assuming that maybe Rockstar was either working on a reference to Claude, maybe he would have appeared somewhere in like a cutscene or something like that. And they did actually get a lot of detail on him. It's not like he's this Minecraft-looking figure here, but he doesn't have hands, he doesn't have feet, so I think it's pretty clear that his character was cut pretty early on in the process. But I still believe that that confirms right there that he is alive and well. If he was going to be featured, that means that he would have had to been alive in some way, shape, or form. So that means that we know that he survived the ending of GTA 3, and he also wasn't killed in Grand Theft Auto 4 or any of the DLCs like the Ballad of Gay Tony and the Lost and the Damned. So is that enough evidence to confirm that Claude is still alive when we reach Grand Theft Auto 5? I think the answer is yes. Is he living in Los Santos? I don't know if that's true, one thing we know for sure is that Rockstar doesn't allow characters from the GTA 3 universe to cross over into the HD universe, or really any of the characters from the 3D era into the HD era. So I don't know how they would have made it work. It's doubtful we will probably ever see him again in the future. Unless, of course, he's like somehow featured in a Grand Theft Auto Online update. But even then, I don't know how Rockstar would make that possible. But anyways, that right there is 10 Easter eggs that proves Claude from Grand Theft Auto 3 is still alive in Grand Theft Auto 5 and likely living in Los Santos. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What do you think of these Easter eggs and references, and what do you believe actually happened to Claude? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And remember to subscribe if you guys are new, or you want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and Red Dead Redemption 2 videos that I'm doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.